Welcome back to another episode of Content Amplified. Today I'm joined by Molly. Molly, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Ben. Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, Molly, I'm excited. This is going to be a fun conversation. I think it's a subject that a lot of people need to think about today. But before we dive into that, let's get to know you. Tell us your background, work history, all that kind of fun stuff.
I love that. Yeah. Well, I'm Molly Bridges. I lead events and experiences at Built Rewards. Built, just a really quick TLDR, it's a loyalty platform that gives residents the ability to earn points on rent payments, access to exclusive neighborhood benefits that I put on, and yeah, allowing them to redeem those rewards on everything from like fitness classes to comedy to dining, travel. And a lot of my work now is focused on scaling events, primarily within the like rent day segment. So something that turns the first of the month, which historically, at least in my opinion, has been seen as negative. You're paying your largest expense throughout the month into a moment of hopefully celebration across our member network. So I do a lot of events within comedy, dining, like I said, fitness, concerts. So focused on really designing high touch, high impact events that bring our brand to life.
I love it. That's amazing. How did you get into the space? Like, how did you get into this whole world in the first place?
Yeah. So I have what I would call an untraditional background. I majored in education and received my master's degree in education. And so before jumping into the tech space and the event space, I was actually a teacher. So I taught internationally for a handful of years. And throughout my time teaching, I really was ready for the next best thing. I wanted to leverage what I thought my superpower was at the time, which was kind of creating safe environments for children into the tech space. So I took a little jump, a little career pivot, if you will, and went into a tech company called Springboard and led their community there. And it was kind of meta for me because I was doing something that I was helping adults do. So Springboard allowed adults to career switch from maybe more of a blue collar traditional role into something like machine learning engineering, data science, AI. And so I was leading these cohorts through various experiences, bringing them together with their mentor and helping them end up getting a job within these new tech spaces. And so it was really cool because in the same way I was doing a very similar thing, I was pivoting and transitioning into a totally different field. And so throughout my time there, I really learned how much I loved the like grittiness of events. And at the time, it was a grassrooted effort. It was a small early stage company. And so I learned a lot around like the hustle mentality of putting events together and really bringing community together. And then shortly after that, went to SoFi, where I really got the full experience. That was when we became public and we acquired the SoFi Stadium in LA. And so we were doing huge tentpole events and brand activations that I really hadn't had experience with before. So I think that was my like real true education within the event space. So yeah, two, I think really meaningful moments for me. One on the like grittier hustle. We do everything from writing our own copy to creating our own assets and email marketing to having a full blown team at SoFi where I was really learning everything that I think I apply now when I come to events and planning community experiences.
Love it. That's so cool. Okay, Molly, for today's episode, and I'm so excited for this subject. It's something I think a lot of people have kind of forgotten about a little bit, but here's the title: The Overlooked Power of In Person in a Digital First Marketing World. And we were talking beforehand, there's a lot of people struggling to find the channels that are going to work in connecting with their potential customers and their existing customers. Pay-per-click has kind of gotten a little bit harder. There's all these different channels that are having issues, like cold email and outreach is also getting tougher as time goes on. AI has made some of this digital side really, I don't want to say complicated, but maybe a little bit like crowded in the space.
Yeah.
But we're going to talk today about something that I love, these in-person events. So we're heavy in digital. It's 2025. It's weird to say that. I can't believe it's that year. How should we and why should we focus on physical events in 2025 when it's so like a digital world? What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm biased, but I think events really offer something that digital touch points can't. It's that like tangible connection in the environment where I think inboxes are obviously crowded, and digital interactions, like you were saying, are increasingly transactional. Looking at you, LinkedIn, just kidding. High impact in person
Very true, to be honest.
events and experiences, I think, create a white space, moments where both partners and prospects and members and audiences can really feel the brand in a way that I think that digital component can't all the time. And at least in my experiences, I think the most effective way to drive loyalty, retention, and even strategic growth is through really thoughtfully produced. It can be premium, it can also be more casual, but in person events, I think that allows you to build trust with people, have that one on one experience to really build deeper relationships and make people want to stay in the room. I think a call out for me was the COVID days. I think we'd sit on Zoom happy hour after Zoom happy hour, and we were all just like shaking, dying to get outside and connect. And I think we got to see a peek into the world of what would happen if we stayed at home on our computers all day without leaving the house, meeting new people, getting new experiences. And at least for me, it was quite grim. So I think that in person experiences and events allow you to feel, see, touch, smell the brand in a way that you can't always do over the computer screen.
I love that. I think that's so cool. And I love the example of COVID. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't the same. Like there were people I met who joined the company, that I was working for during COVID. I didn't build a really good relationship with them like anyone that I had seen in person and gotten to know. It's a different world. And so I love this in-person focus. So let's say I'm sold on this idea. Okay, let's create physical events. Let's try to have moments physically with people. How do I create like an amazing experience if I'm looking to do that?
Yeah. I think that when I at least look through the lens of event planning, I want it to be both really thoughtful. So you're getting that bespoke premium aspect, but you're also allowing it to be efficient. It should feel like a true value add, especially for partners or merchants in the B2B space, not just a branding moment. I think thinking through how you can save your audience members time, allow them to deepen connections when they're at the experience, and create opportunities to grow their own network. So, I guess, in my humble opinion, the events that I enjoy going to the most blend like that elevated production level with practical outcomes. So, you're allowing people to quickly come in and learn about what you want them to learn about. They're able to walk away with a really clear reason to stay engaged for whatever that reason might be. And it's that intersection of combining, I think, hospitality with business impact. And I think something that I kind of lightly spoke about earlier is my background being a bit untraditional. Having that education lens, something that I found as a takeaway was that adults, especially adults that might be drinking, are more like children, I think, than we think or give them credit for. They crave things like routine and structure and clear expectations. And so when I go about planning events, I like to think about my time teaching, making sure that we eliminate uncertainty, allowing people to feel comfortable to connect and engage and have a really great time. So something that I like to call upon is like the old Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I think something that you learn really early on within your education career, but it's a framework that really breaks down the 5 stages of human needs. And I like to leverage it as a template for designing events even. So I think you can look at the first one of like the physiological needs. I think that's how I view event marketing. What are you supposed to wear to this event? What time do you go there? When do you arrive? How do you arrive? It's like all the need to know things before you even enter the event. It's how do you receive this information on the event? And that kind of copy that you might get in an email gives you all the need to know, those like needs that children might have. Because if people are confused about the logistics before even entering the space, the event starts absolutely at the wrong foot. Yeah, you can keep like really moving through all the different stages, and I think there's like a clear connection between each of them. So like after that you have safety for, again, children, but I think the parallel with events is welcoming guests as soon as they enter. Do you know their face? Do you know their name even? How do they feel when they walk in the door? Is it comfortable? Is there clear signage? Like, where are the bathrooms? Everyone wants to know where the bathrooms are. Where's the bar? Everyone wants to know where the bar is. Where's the water? And so I think just having those first impressions immediately calm people down and allow staff to really take the floor and say, great, we want to make sure this user experience is perfect from when you step foot into the door. And then going down the line, number three, we have love and belonging. So I think that for me with events is like fostering that connection and community. Once people are warmed up a bit, they maybe have a drink in their hand. They're trying to figure out who to talk to. It's awkward. Everyone knows that events can be awkward, especially if you're going by yourself. And so, in my opinion, the best events don't just entertain, they really activate community. So maybe there's a thoughtful seating arrangement that encourages conversation, or maybe there's a space where guests can get to meet and interact with each other with like conversation starters that are hopefully cool and fun and totally normal and not awkward at all. But I think like social anxiety is very real. So I like to think about how I can tweak and make really small touch points so that everyone can feel welcome and allow them to connect with others easily, as well as with like the staff or whoever's putting on the event.
I love that.
The last two, we'll go through them quickly, but I think the fourth is like esteem needs. And I think that's where I'm making sure that people who are at the event, that's that thing about being efficient and effective. So making sure an event doesn't meet their expectations, like, oh, I got a free drink, or got to have a slider. Instead, it's like, okay, how are we exceeding those? So they felt like they met someone interesting. They learned something new. They got what they came for, that like ROI of the event. I think that's really impactful here. So whether the goal of the event be networking or community building or educational, did we like nail that piece? Did people leave saying, wow, I got way more out of that than I expected to? And I think that's where those like really personal touch points can come into play and really make or break an event. And then the very last, like, I like this because it makes me crack up. It's like self-actualization. In what world are we all getting that? But I think that's about like scaling events while keeping it personal. So let's say, okay, you've got up to four on these hierarchies and you're like, okay, I can now plan a really good event. People walk away feeling really good. How do you do multiple of those? I think that's the hardest thing in my career. I think you see a lot of amazing event planners, but how do you continue to replicate that and really keep that premium component? So I think just leveraging what you know about your audience, how can you begin to leverage new markets, elevate your brand in multiple different ways, whether that be building an ambassador network to help you create these events or find really, really great partners to leverage. It's just more about thinking through like, okay, now how can we copy and paste and continue to have something at a really high bar? So yeah, I think the TLDR here is that, events can be as luxurious and well produced as possible, but if people don't know where like the bar line starts, or they don't feel welcome when they walk in, it's not going to be a good experience. So a lot of my work is around finding to make sure that there's ways to have those fundamental needs met while creating like the connection, the belonging, the unforgettable moments.
Awesome. Sorry, and I didn't mean to put you on an island there. I kind
No,
of
you're
asked the question, you kind of took it and ran. I love it. This is super cool. I love it. So we're running out of time. And I love how you look at the individual needs of a person and have applied them specifically to events. I think that we can do that with anything that we're doing. How does this fulfill the individual's needs? When you look at business needs, and you kind of touched on this the second to last point, the KPIs. How do we measure success? Obviously, there's, okay, what revenue and pipeline did we generate? But there's also so much more value for an event than just that. How do you look and kind of measure KPIs, metrics, kind of report on the success of an event and know, hey, let's do that again?
Yeah, I think that there's obviously an art to events, which is kind of what I just spoke to, but there's also a science. And I think that's where I really like to get into the nitty gritty of the data. I think two OKRs you can always look at when measuring the success of an event is the first being engagement and community impact. So things that you can track within that are your classic NPS, Net Promoter Score, or CSAT, but you can also look at things like participation rate, a registration to attendance conversion, or the no-show rate, who said they were going to come but actually didn't come. Repeat attendees, are people really excited about the event and they continue to come back? That's a great thing to be able to leverage and look at. Even like audience growth, member conversion, those who attend events, are they more likely to take the action that you want them to take? Ambassador growth, and even like that feedback tracking piece. Obviously, that's a little bit more qualitative, but you can do post-event surveying to really assess satisfaction, engagement, and alignment with kind of what you were looking to track. And then the second OKR that I always like to double tap into is the event ROI from like a business impact perspective. So that can be revenue. That might take a little longer to track, but those who attend attended events, are they more likely to have increased spend, or they might have less like costs per attendee because we're able to see that they are able to bring more people. We can look at things like partnerships and sponsorships, increase in vendor participation, cross sell, upsell, all of that really fun stuff. And even on like the team level, scalability. So the ratio of events per team member, does that go down? Does that go up? Track the number of events per year, the number of events per month. So I think there's like a process optimization piece as well there. So you can really see, does the event strategy really ladder up to both business needs and community impact? But there's a lot of juicy data in there that I don't think people always tap into, but there's definitely ways to put a number to an event as well.
I like that. And you're also creating, like you said, the employee satisfaction or NPS kind of an idea. You're creating some of these own metrics to measure your own success and collecting them your own way. I love that. I think that's really cool. I love that.
Thank
Well,
you.
Molly, we have run out of time. We keep these episodes short on purpose and they go by so quick. But Molly, if anyone listening wants to reach out and connect with you online, how and where can they find you?
Yeah, I say LinkedIn is the best, even though I did just hate on LinkedIn. But I'm Molly Bridges at LinkedIn, and I work at Built Rewards. So come check me out.
Wonderful. I love it. And for anyone listening, scroll down to the show notes. We will link to Molly's LinkedIn profile right there. Go ahead and click on that link and connect with Molly. Molly, thank you so much for the insights today. I really do appreciate your time.
Thank you, Ben. It was such a lovely conversation. Thanks for having me.